open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann, and let me tell you about my new favorite NFL quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
Go on.
Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that this man has had a very interesting last 2 years. Falling out of love with his franchise, wanting to get the fuck out of there, but then ultimately having what would have been a slam dunk trade scenario boondoggled by the fact that a bunch of women came out and said, he's a pervert. And once that happened, it took a very long time for him to get traded because a lot of people didn't want to take on this mess. Okay, so what I mean by that is, over a period of 17 months, Deshaun Watson sought out 66 massage therapists.
You don't say.
That's such a weird number and so many, and then saying all those words together, it's almost like a fucking tongue twister. That number, 66 massage therapists in under a year and a half, that is astounding right out of the gate. And it boils down to 3.8 massage therapists a month, so we'll just call it 4, roughly, because who knows how many didn't come forward, or that we don't know about in other states and things of that matter. But usually you find somebody you like and you stick with them. You don't go hopping from gal to gal to gal to gal to gal to gal ad infinitum, unless you've got some shit going on that's very uncouth and you're a fucking creep. How often does this guy need to get rubbed down? And it also, before we even think about that, how nice must it be to have the first world problems that, oh, I'm so sore, I have to find someone to give me a massage because I'm an attractive young star athlete with millions of dollars. Oh, woe is me. But it gets weirder because a bunch of them came forward and said that he was inappropriate and lewd, and a couple of them said that he made them do some things, which I'll get into further into the episode here. Additionally, his former franchise, the Houston Texans, helped him seek out the services, and on certain occasions, they gave him a facility to use for the encounters. So they're just like, oh yeah, we can help you find massage therapists, and we'll even do you one better, buddy. We'll give you a dirty old dank basement rub-down room for you to try to get your schwatz touched in.
Bing bong, hello.
And at one point, a woman came forward with an accusation of indecent behavior against Mr. Watson and threatened to expose this to the world. And after that, a team representative gave Deshaun a boilerplate non-disclosure agreement to then have every woman that touched him after that sign before they could engage in whatever the fuck was happening. And then the woman that initially threatened to, tell everybody what was up, it sounds like they just gave her the royal brush off because they didn't pay her to go away because she sued him after that. So here's what happened. He was just living life in the fast lane, throwing touchdowns and getting rub-downs. And then one woman comes forward, and then a few more, and then a few more. And it ballooned up to 24 total who were suing him in civil court for sexual harassment and lewd conduct, etc. There was even talk that he might be charged criminally, as it sounded like some of the things that took place were non-consensual.
What? Oh no.
Now, he has since settled 23 of those cases. Interesting. Paying all these women to go away seems kind of damning. But his attorney must have thought they'd get slayed in court, even though he keeps attesting that there's no validity to any of these claims, and they are very confident that if they go to court, they will shoot them all down. Or if we just pay most of you to shut the fuck up and go away, it probably wouldn't hurt either, right? And wouldn't you know it, he had just signed a new 5-year, $230 million record-breaking contract with the Cleveland Browns to be their next quarterback of the future. So what's a few million in hush money, right? Just ask Vince McMahon.
Oh, for God's sake.
So I alluded to possible criminal charges, and the Houston Police Department, they did investigate after a complaint was filed, and a report against him stated that he acted inappropriately and tried to coerce women into touching him in naughty ways. But in March, a grand jury in Harris County, Texas, declined to bring charges against him on any of the 9 criminal complaints. So that there kind of helped him in regards to the civil stuff. I mean, he still looks like a dirty perv, and as soon as these accusations hit, his main sponsor, Nike, is like, gonna hit the pause button on this deal there, buddy. We want to wait and see just how much of a skis you are. And who would blame them? You know, I've heard different media outlets say various things about what he tried and how he went about these appointments and acting around these women. And one reoccurring theme was that he would bring his own towel to wear during the massages. And it was rather small. And he'd use it to cover only his genitals. And he would frequently ask for work around his groin area, which I'm sure makes perfect sense for a quarterback who does lifting and throwing and not so much running like a fucking track star would, right? He's not a hockey player. He's not on skates putting in like fucking 50 shifts a game. No, he's an NFL quarterback. They run a play, it goes from 3 to 8 seconds, then they take a pause, and then they do that over and over for like 3.5 hours. You must be so exhausted from all of that. Yeah, you better go get a rub down there, bud. You're in rough shape. And aside from all that, 2 of these cases included claims of, quote, sexual assault, stating that Watson was said in both cases to have pressured or coerced women to perform oral sex during the massage appointments. And he was accused in another one of grabbing a woman's buttocks and vagina. Now, far be it from me to tell anybody to stop trying to grab a woman by the pussy, scumbag, but he coerced them into sucking his dick? Like, how do you do that? Either someone's going to suck your dick or they're not. And if you just, like, grab the back of their head and be like, come on, just give it a kiss, just give it a smell, just lick my balls once. You're still running a pretty risky gambit there that they might just pretend they want to do it. Also, they could take a big old fucking meaty bite out of your dong and then go running out of the room with blood all over their mouth, screaming about how you just tried to skull fuck them. Woo! So, pretty ballsy on his behalf. And I'm just going to go out there and say I believe that that is true, because of all the civil lawsuits that all sounded the same way. However, if I'm going to be fair, let's just say that like in any case where a famous person gets sued, a bunch of Klingons throw out all kinds of accusations that are similar to what's already been made public in efforts to pile on in hopes to get a piece of the pie, right? The civil suits allege that Watson engaged in a pattern of lewd behavior with women hired to provide personal services, coercing them to touch him in a sexual manner, his penis, exposing himself to women he had lured for massages, he showed him his penis, or moving his body in ways that forced them to touch his penis. His penis. The incidents cited in the suits were said to have occurred from March 2020 to March 2021. Very busy calendar year, sir. It's not even like you were Tom Brady and you just got done winning the fucking Super Bowl and now you needed to like kind of get your body back in shape the offseason to kind of relax and recuperate, right? No, you were Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans and you guys didn't do shit. The Texans, I mean, in the playoffs. However, the Texans organization also didn't do shit amongst a litany of claims before all this blew up, so they're also kind of guilty of being complicit. Whoops. And just for reference, all of the specifics of the allegations I just ran down comes from a report by the New York Times after they reviewed the official court records for the various cases against him. Just want to let you check my work so you don't think I'm just firing from the hip with bullshit like some people that used to be on this show. And one thing I will say is that my wife, she is a masseuse. And I was like, oh, fuck, I should ask her what she thinks about this. And I called her and I'm like, hey, are you familiar with Deshaun Watson and all the shit going on? No. I broke it down. And her 2 cents are that it's very uncommon for someone to bring their own towel, and it has never happened to her. Like, there's always sheets available where she works and operates out of. And she also said that working around the thighs and groin isn't necessarily abnormal, but no one has also ever tried to contort their body to get a free brush of the goods. If they did that, she would stop it right there. She's also never been propositioned, and again, if she had, she would have ended the appointment immediately and then blacklisted the client. And I think any upstanding masseuse or massage therapist who doesn't work at like an Asian massage parlor in the city of Osseo would do the same thing. Hint, hint, Google it. Busted. Hand jobs. Happy endings. For real. That fucking happened. Moving on. Mr. Watson was initially suspended by the league for 6 games on August 1st. They used some lady named Sue Robinson. She's a retired judge. She was jointly appointed by the NFL and the NFLPA, or Players Association, to oversee the discipline in this instance. Now, She determined that Watson had violated the league's personal conduct policy by engaging in what she described as predatory and egregious conduct because of all the allegations and all the similarities between them in the volume, basically. But she did indicate that the NFL's policies and past rulings inhibited her from meting out a stricter punishment, so she wanted to give him more than 6 games. But she couldn't.
Allegedly.
Then the league appealed that decision to 6 games and wanted it to be looked at by an independent thinker, and he's now suspended for a total of 11 games with an additional $5 million fine, which is a drop in a bucket for this guy in the grand scheme of things.
I'm rich, biatch!
You know, I talked about Nike pausing his agreement, so who knows how much money he lost there. I can't imagine too many other sponsors are excited to line up to pay this guy to represent them, given all that's transpired. But this whole ordeal begs the question. If a guy who's a star athlete can't get his rocks off without the exchange of money, then who the fuck can? And is it just that he likes the power dynamic of making people touch him, much the same way that Bill Cosby liked giving people his Jell-O pudding pop while they were asleep? Or like Louis C.K. is an exhibitionist and likes to have people watch him masturbate, but at least is, smart enough to ask for consent first. I sit and I think about, never in my life have I been so hard up to get my dick just touched with a hand that I'd risk going to jail for it, As I've said many, many times, hand jobs are like the Tootsie Rolls of sex acts. If you're in the mood for chocolate, sure, they'll kind of get you by, but nobody wants that. They want a fucking candy bar. They want a Reese's cup. They want something that's really sweet, like a blowjob, which apparently he got a few of and is now going to pay lots of money for. There has to be somebody out there that would like this guy, I would think. Like you didn't hear about him being a dirty pervert until recently, but I can't imagine just one day he woke up and said, you know what? I'm sick of the dating scene. I'm not getting the right hits on Tinder. I'm just going to find a massage therapist and see if she'll fucking jack me off. It's a weird thought process to go through if you're somebody with his stature, but I suppose if you're constantly afraid that gold diggers are trying to take you out, you just go and roll the dice on whether or not some bitch that gives rubdowns will spit in her hand and shine your helmet and then shut the fuck up about it afterwards, right? Because discretion is a very admirable quality. Because as the saying goes, loose lips sink ships. And I guess, with Ray Rice years ago punching his girlfriend out in that fucking elevator, or Marshawn Lynch being drunk, or other players being drunk and crashing cars, or getting arrested with guns in nightclubs, or Plexico Burress shooting himself in a nightclub because he was illegally carrying a gun for his own protection. Like, it's nice to get a good old-fashioned
Giggity!
sexual harassment / assault allegation for a change, because it's been a while, I think, since we've gotten a decent one. Not since Big Ben Roethlisberger of the Steelers allegedly tried to force himself on a woman in a bathroom. But again, how can a star athlete not find, like, a woman that's worth a shit? You have your pick of the litter. And they might not all be, lifelong loves, but Jesus Christ, you got to be having tons of hot pieces of squish, like models and shit, that constantly want to be around you or in your stratosphere. And at least one or two of them is most likely going to be like, oh my God, you're so famous and you're so hot and I like your abs and you throw touchdowns. And like, how is he having this much trouble? Is he just like really bad and awkward with conversation with women? Is this guy fucking autistic? Maybe. I'd love for that to be an odd wrinkle that comes out of this story. But then again, he plays in Cleveland now, so even if he is on the spectrum, nobody's going to fucking notice around all those Clevelandites. And the other facet about the possible criminal charges that they investigated, that makes the whole, hey, I want you to suck my dick, so do it because I'm famous, an even worse thing to try. Because one minute you're getting some massage therapist to give you a hesitant blowjob with trepidation as she swallows. The next thing you know, you're in prison and you're having to like ward off constant advances and possible stabbings from all the white supremacist gangs that don't like uppity black guys that are good at sports coming around their cell block and acting like they own the joint. And God knows how many fucking stomachfuls of Aryan Brotherhood cum he'd have to down before he gets the keys to the yard and allowed to use the weight bench.
How you fellas doing?
And unfortunately, they couldn't have waited like another few weeks to give the decision on the whole suspension angle. You know, like 11 games is a big deal out of a 17-game season. Forget the money that he's going to lose. That team is fucked. They were hoping for them to be, playoff contenders this year. But to hold another 3 weeks before making the decision means that a number of fantasy football nerds would bet on Deshaun Watson and then have their whole season go up in smoke because they wasted a high-round draft pick on him. And I just love to see people that play pretend football fall flat on their fucking faces and lose their shit about how serious it is what they're going through when it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I mean, they just get so geeked out about football while watching other people do it and then accumulate points for money and gambling. It's fucking stupid. I hate fantasy football. I don't even really like professional sports anymore, but I especially hate fantasy sports. It's such a circle jerk of dipshittery. Like, you have your favorite team or player, right? But if you don't draft them, you're going to root against your possible favorite team just because you have a guy who's a wide receiver on the opposing team's offense. And all these people that be crying into their fucking beer about, well, Deshaun got suspended for 11 games and I don't know if he'll be able to repeat as league champion. It's really hurt my odds of winning the $400 that I stood to make from all my friends in our stupid pretend sports stats dildo club.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Seriously, fuck all of you and your stupid sports, and fuck Deshaun Watson. This story's just hilarious for me because I love to see pro athletes fail hard, and he failed pretty fucking hard on this one. No pun intended. Interact with the show on Twitter at @WhatDoWeCallIt. That is at @WhatDoWeCallIt. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/WhatDoWeCallIt podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann. And that's the end.